Greetings and salutations. Hello. Hello from Los Angeles. West Coast in the house. I'm sharing my synapses and whatnots. Silly little chat. Some people on Mondays just don't have the go-go. Sometimes I do. So I figured, why not? I'm also feeling very drawn to dive deeper into one of my missions, and that is New Earth parenting. That's the kids, our little star seeds, our little indigos, our little crystallines, all of the above, our fellow light being, magnetic, epic New Earth way showers. Say that 10 times fast, whatever I just said. Little backstory, being the elemental that I am, a little bit of fairy energy. I've always been drawn to kids, and kids have always been drawn to me. I was the old auntie at the dinner table for many a holiday and many a season. I was, come on, James. I have a cat too. I was always the babysitter, always preferred the kids' table even. I worked summer camps. I have an early childhood degree from DePaul University. Barely. Pretty much failed out of that school because I just couldn't sit and listen to blah, 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 blah. I had intuition. I had instinct. I was drawn to children and likewise. I always was doing something with them. Even 30 years in motion picture, I had some sort of side hustle of always nannying or babysitting, or I taught acting classes to kids, all these random little things. And then I became a mother. And the claws came out. No. It is this hypersensitive awareness of mama bearism. There's just this instinct that you have to protect your babies. Now, cue my daughter at 4 to 6 months, thinking I was Miss Granola, following Dr. Sears and spreading out a jab schedule. Well, she seizured and I almost lost her in my arms. And not only did the medical community have nothing to say about it or answers for me, but they wanted to do it all over again because it didn't really take, it looked like they said. I dove deep. I give a big shout out to Meg Davenhall, one of the founders of Thinking Mom Revolution, because she did send me a book when I was pregnant, and she did tell me the story about her child. We were teachers together in Chicago. The warning signs were there. I was paying attention to a lot of things. I was on City Hall steps trying to fight SB 277, which went over everybody's heads. Basically, 10 years ago, we've been fighting, well, for decades, but me specifically, 10 years ago, I started divulging research, talking about agendas, warning about GATES and the foundation, a lot of those things. This isn't a medical rant thing. This isn't a medical thing. But there has been an agenda at play for multiple reasons, but one in particular I wanted to talk about today, and that is to maim and harm these starseed beings that are coming in to help us shift the planet. It's just part of it. And they've been doing it. And everybody signs up for this. So there's free will involved. I already lost my train of thought. The shift is going on. It's happening. It's happening daily. You can step into a 5D paradigm by simply making choices, by healing your inner shit and making the right choices. When it comes to then mama bearing and having children, for an entire year that this agendas have been playing out, my role specifically has been to protect my children from these agendas. They have never once been in a mandated, they've never been reading their own carbon dioxide. They have not had a gun pointed at their head and lasered their pineal and calcified it. They have not been told to leave somewhere and all these other random things. Super shout out to homeschool freedom fighters, epic mama warrior bears. Super shout out to all my mama pals and dad pals and family friends that for the past year, we've created the coolest events and parties for our kids. I've never hosted as much in my life. And I used to be the Truth or Galleries, but now it's like, let's pump this up for the kids, man. Swimming, do. Let's keep their child-led learning and their intrigue for questioning and their look into the universe and their excitement to grow. Let's just protect that. And I have, and I did. And now we are at critical mass. Not only is the zombie apocalypse in full effect, it's happening, but we now have the next rollout, which is an incredibly awful gaslighting, virtue signaling, the lowest low you can get in shaming people for adhering to an experimental program. It's not even an option. We don't even entertain it, but watching who do. It's crippling, isn't it? It's hard. It's hard. It's not that someone's going to be jabbed and they're down. So there's a lot of disinfo that's out there. It's not that someone's going to get a jab and then, oh, they're a zombie. I mean, it's Russian roulette. You never know. To each his own. There's that going on, the medical shit. There's, let's get these kids back in school. Give me my day back. Let's get them back in school so they can socialize, so they can do this, so they can do that. But what is it exactly they're doing socializing when 3/4 of their face are covered up? And oftentimes there's plexiglass in front of them, or they're not allowed to be 6 feet or closer. What does that do? What's the purpose of that? And then they have to memorize the Common Core regurgitation of the programming that was literally specifically put into the school system to train your children for the state to take over the taking care of your children and to take out the God gene without even taking the jab. It's happening and it's rolling out. More trains of thought lost, but that's why synapses and whatnots, because it was like blah, 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 bubbling up. And I'm like, I want to spew. It's just stuff. The conversation now that I'm looking forward to having with more people, and I've been having with some wonderful people, is what are we going to do about it? We know the shit. We know all those little things that are out there. We know the loosh. We know the agendas. And those that don't, some feel called to teach them. They still are Paul Revering it up, going, do. I'm going to tell everybody. And if they don't listen to me, I'm going to shake them. Been there, done that. Doesn't work very well. Not called to do that anymore. If people are drawn to wanting to listen and ask questions, they will. But I guess I can be a little passive aggressive though. But I'm being called to actually do something about it and be a part of the solution and make the changes now. Not then, not when, not until, but now. Everything is now because my kids are watching me. My kids are watching you. The other kids are watching the other kids. There's a whole psychological programming and warfare and agenda going on that we aren't even talking about it. And that's what's happening to our kids. What will be happening to them in the decades to follow based upon these outrageous guidelines over falsified data. Forget about just beating people over the head with the data itself. They will go toe-to-toe for you, and they still will probably tote science and doctors and all these things. This is not one of those. You can go toe-to-toe on everything. This is about the wee ones. The state is not going to take care of my kids for me. They're not. The state is not going to break up my family. And the state is not going to bring me to a near cardiologist visit again because I think I'm having heart attacks, because I'm spread so bloody thin just to survive and manage. They're not, and they haven't. It was so funny. We had our tax appointment and then we did better than we've ever done in a year of COVID. Thank you, universe. I digress. My job now in this moment, in these days, now and coming, and what's been going, but what I've been doing is looking at the world through their eyes and keeping the magic alive, keeping the light turned on, keeping the critical thinking at an all-time high. We shoved the Common Core books out the window, those easy to buy off Amazon ones that were my crutch, because even though I was an educator, it took me a whole year to spiral off a career and an industry I made that pretty much ran me ragged and gave me no time for my children. I had to got myself back, and I'm ready to educate. But it's not going to be found in books that the norms are using. It's not going to be found on some special YouTube show yet. It's not going to be found on, I don't even know what you call it, because we didn't do it all year. The streaming, your school, on a remote school. Is that what you call it? It's not going to be done there. It's going to be, it's grassroots, really. So do you want to be part of the revolution with me? Do you have children? Are you an aunt or an uncle or a brother or a sister or someone with children around you? Even if you're not ready to dive into the adrenochrome world of it all, and I'm not going to get into that right now, even if you are unaware of the dark agendas at play for our children, you can be part of the solution, and you can be part of the Great Awakening, part of the way to help assist these new wave, brilliant, gorgeous, incredible energies that are going to be relishing in this new earth that we're co-creating. How can we do that? Well, I start by giving them my attention, undivided at best, which you work on because there's gadgets. And I'm just a second, I'm guilty. I've done it. So we communicate about it and we'll work out rules. You be attentive for them. You keep their light inside by keeping them healthy. You do your research on the big pharma mafia, and you keep them healthy and bright and alive. And that does not include a chemical cocktail. You keep them moving. You keep their energy moving. You keep them playing. You keep them getting inspired. What is it that is inspiring them right now? For my daughter, it's always been the handheld. She's freaking genius with these little, she can make clay people this big. She's been knitting since 4. She is the hand chick. So what is she doing? She's making a comic book right now. That's pretty freaking cool. And I'm so proud of her. To me, that covers art, English for spelling and writing, math, because she has to make it in these boxes that fit on these pages. Explore your options. You do not have to consent with the way things used to be done. You could be trying to do something new. And I do believe in all of my heart and my existence that our children are born into this earth having gifts that have been suppressed from even us. They're born with it. We were born with it. But then it becomes muddled and suppressed by agendas and organizations and programming. That's not what's happening anymore. This is the crazy crap that's happening. This matrix is being torn apart. And we have a chance to live above it and out of it and on our own. And we can do that. I'm teaching them to do what they love. Because you do what you love, the money will come. So these little hustlers they're going to be fine. I am teaching them to rest, to sleep, to take breaks, to honor their energy. I am teaching them to use critical thinking and common sense. I am allowing them the space to answer. I'm guilty at this too. My son can attest. We have a tendency to cut him off a lot. We're working on his speech at the moment. We have myofascial we're working on and all these things. He has a couple tongue tie. He has a tongue tie and a lip tie. He has things going on where his speech is, he's struggled. And he's 7.5. He's been struggling to be heard. I'm giving him a platform to be heard and the safe space to do it. I was actually not, there was a specific point where I'm like, ooh, go record. I can't even get to it. It's mumble jumbled in there. But you know what I'm doing? I'm also giving them a chance to have a mumble jumbled brain. and take little breaks and alter their schedules based on their physical ailments, based on how they slept that night. It's actually the most beautiful, gracious time right now. And I'm ever grateful for this opportunity to be with them and to assist them in this. So here's what I propose for this new earth. It was going to be really kind of snarky, but I don't want to be snarky. Whatever your involvement with kids, you can help be part of the solution by being a way shower yourself, making decisions based in sovereignty, based on free will, and using critical thinking. We can do that by leading by example. We can do that by pausing and stopping and listening and taking in the kids. We can do this by pausing and being like, am I really want to muzzle up my child to go socialize under somebody else's care and system? Or can I rise up and withhold my money from a private school institution and say, not until you take the masks off? The kids like Arizona, which was not a false story. There's actually lots of video out, and I've shared it on my Facebook page. But Zuckerberg flagged it for fake news, and guess what? It's everywhere. And it's only just begun. The people are rising. So jump aboard. Come aboard. And I don't think she's going to mind me saying this because now I'm on a roll and she keeps popping in the whole time. And I'm like, but I just want to disclose when she's ready. But I am so freaking super excited to be working on a project with my good pal Abby Lynn that has to do with New Earth parenting. We will be talking to people. We have been talking to people who are actually doing something by going within the school system and teaching meditation. They're parents themselves. We have scholars, doctors. We have tons of peeps that are actually being part of the solution. So, and there's no hierarchies. Everybody can be a part of this. Everybody has a responsibility to co-create this new earth for our children, and one without fear. Fear is a loose-driven, dark, archonic energy. It's put out there for a reason. It's addictive. Everybody has a chance to succumb to it. It takes a true warrior to rise up out of it, I have to say. And guess what our kids are? They're fucking warriors. So you just have a responsibility right now to turn off the propaganda, to go within and use your instinct, and to show your children a fear-free, sovereign way of living. It doesn't mean you have to go on a war for presidents and teach them how to argue with others and the divide and conquer gender, expose them to all that. They'll pick up on it. I can see it. It's to teach them critical thinking to show what fits right for you. And I can guarantee you it's not going to involve indoctrination. It's not going to involve manufactured narratives of more divide and conquer groups, a la 3 alphabet letters, consonants put in a row, start with B, such as that. Anything Soros funded, let's be real. Let's do it. Let's put the kids first. Maybe it'll stop y'all from fighting with each other. Maybe it'll stop y'all from posting loosh. Maybe it will stop y'all from regurgitating the same freaking hamster wheel of the theories and storylines that we are all privy to, that we have a lot of those platforms. But where are the platforms about being the solution? Where are the platforms about thinking of the kids? I'm going to help co-create one. How about you? I know Abby Lynn is. That is my mission today on Monday. For us, we had a little Common Core workbook day. We did a couple pages. We attended to the plants. I have my water fairy. Today it was Huck, my son, and he took care of our plants and our chickens and our cat and our dog. Mm-hmm. My daughter medically is resting a little bit today, but she's reading her chapter book. And you know what her chapter book's about? One of her favorite shows. And it also happens to be in a series of 12 comic books. This is the chapter book that goes along with it. So for every chapter she gets to read a comic book. We'll see if this even goes up. I just think our focus needs to shift a lot from divide and conquer, which we don't even know we're doing sometimes. But when you feel like this need to go toe to toe with somebody, and you're experiencing a lot of people with cognitive dissonance, and you have it yourself for some things, because come on, a lot of the truthers don't want to be wrong, and a lot of the truthers are still using clicks and what's it called? Like clicks. But how many are really putting someone else before themselves? Something to think about. I don't know. I might play it back, or I might just say fuck it and post it. So we'll see. I just wanted to say something today. Our plans changed. We were going to hang with our homeschool freedom fighters today, a group of 200 plus. We patronize sovereign facilities that allow our group of tons of people to be free of any controlled narrative apparatus, as well as mama bears and papa bears. It's a fabulous group. We have things going on every day, and sometimes we just can't get to them. But shout out to Mai and the beautiful ladies and men of Homeschool Freedom Fighters. There's that. We were going to go to one of their events today, but we chose to stay and ground ourselves at home and do another series of lesson plans today. What did I just say? We'll see. How about this? I said synapses and whatnots. Okay, that's 20 minutes. That's way too long for anybody to pay attention to, but I tried. So you can knock on the doors all you want, or you can plant seeds for people. You can shove their face in the ground and plant them yourself. Or you can start being the solution. Saying, doing, being the steps, the right ways of the new earth you want to create. Thoughts become things. So the more we keep regurgitating these agendas and these narratives, the more they're going to have them. So if we can just break off that Ferris wheel, merry-go-round monkey thing and just start something new, something from the heart, and that's something that has to do with our most sacred beings on this planet. Well, every freaking being on this planet is sacred, but you know what I'm talking about. The kids. Cheers to everyone who is going to do their best to teach their children from their heart, to use common sense and critical thinking, and to adhere to child-led learning, and to raise galactic little children who are going to take over the planet for years to come. No grand finale words for that. This is just so important, and I don't know if this was enough, but I'll do my best and I'll keep going. You all have a good day, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.